What if you are the only minority member on a panel? Maybe the panel is all men and you are the only female, or maybe you are the only person of color. What do you do if you are on this panel? Stay tuned to hear more about this on Think It Through Thursdays. Hello and welcome back to Wisco Weekly. I'm your host, Dennis Wisco. We're kicking off the new year with a new segment called Think It Through Thursdays. I've had the chance over the last couple of years to attend a lot of different conferences, and there are a lot of speakers that posed a lot of great problems, and I thought that I would share those problems with you so that if you're in the heat of it now, or perhaps you're going to be dealing with it at some point, then you're at least prepared to deal with these problems. So that's what Think It Through Thursdays is all about. Today's episode features the Chief Marketing Officer at Cars.com, Brooke Skinner Ricketts. At the Women in Automotive Conference last December, Brooke was sharing with the audience how she is a workaholic, how upon graduation from Bard College, a private liberal arts college in Hudson, New York, she immediately jumped into the workforce. Brooke has worked at several notable companies throughout her career, and as a matter of fact, based on the list of companies as well as her eloquence when she speaks, I'm going to presume, and it's a very high likelihood, that she is very competent at her job, in whatever job that she's doing. Having said that, Brooke represents the North Star of somebody who's trying to pursue a career in the corporate environment.
We can't be what we can't see. So I remember a town hall after a significant merger at one of the companies where I worked. We were there to talk about the future of our new agency. And I looked up on the stage and I saw 5 people who were really good friends and really great businessmen. And I saw a row of white men in their 50s. And as soon as that visual kind of clicked with me, I totally tuned out. I couldn't see myself there because I couldn't see myself there. I've learned that there's power in presence and that visibility matters. My wife and her brothers run the Chicago Cubs. She was the first out lesbian owner of a Major League Baseball team. She has done some amazing things in the LGBT community. She's a very accomplished person, and yet the feedback that she gets so often is, "Thank you for being so visible," or "It means so much to me that you're out and such a big part of this organization." I found myself underestimating the profound impact of simple presence can have, often favoring actions or results. And both absolutely matter, to be totally clear. At the same time, I found again and again that there's an intangible but very important impact that each of us can have by representing our intersections loudly and proudly. Being vocal and visible in communities and forums and contexts where diversity and challenging the status quo isn't necessarily the status quo, because if our goal is to push people out of their comfort zones to create progress, it's important for each of us to step out of our comfort zones too. And this applies to allies too. Ever heard of a MANEL or a WANEL? An all-male panel or an all-white panel? Right? So if you find yourself in these situations, if you're a guy or if you're a person who's the least diverse person on the panel, offer up your seat to someone else or speak up to the conference and say, "Hey, look, you know what, I'd like to create space for someone else."
Here's a thought experiment for you. Do you participate in a panel if you are one of the minority members? Again, maybe it's an all-white panel and you are a person of color, or maybe it's an all-male panel and you are a female. Do you still participate on that panel? Well, I'm sure one of the first questions that will come up that you will ask yourself internally is, am I even qualified to speak on this panel? And hopefully the answer is yes. If it's not, then obviously you have no business speaking on any panel just yet. But if the answer is yes, that you are a subject matter expert, that you can participate on a panel that just so happens that you are the minority member, do you adopt Brooke's line of thinking and basically pass on the opportunity to create space for somebody else? Well, there's merit to perhaps saying no, passing on the opportunity, because perhaps that is the line in the sand that starts to create this change from the employees, from the industry itself. And perhaps your opposition is the catalyst for that change. Now, there's also merit if you do participate on the panel, even though you are the minority member. Consider for a moment that a lot of corporate cultures, the change always happens top down. Love it or hate it, that's usually how it works. So your participation on a panel where it is a MANEL or a WANEL, you potentially could elevate your career and get the job of a C-level executive or anything of a very high executive quality. And then you could start to make the changes top down in your organization or within your industry. So in closing, if you participate on a panel or you don't participate on a panel, I hope by posing this problem to you now, you'll be better prepared to react to an invitation when it comes. Thanks for watching this video. I'm Dennis Wisco. Be sure you subscribe to the show if you're liking this content. Again, more of these problems will be posed to you on Think It Through Thursdays.